Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Dena Crowder, and welcome to your Taste of Pure Power. I'm delighted to see all of you here today. I know many of you are in the Western Hemisphere, which means that it's happy hour time, and you could be having a glass of champagne, but you're here, which tells me that power is calling you. People seek me out when they are wanting to have a really positive impact. They want to get into a powerful position, or they want to sustain their already existing influence. And my magic power is up-leveling creators and influencers and leaders into new roles. Roles that supernova their visibility and their prestige, and do all of that without selling out, burning out, or turning to the dark side. So of course today, because my specialty is power, we are dealing with power. We're going to have a delicious little tapas around forbidden power. And my intention in the time we have today is that you leave with confidence and capability in an area that has previously kind of been off limits for you, and that you have some clarity about what that area is. My intention also is that if you are really benefiting from what we do here today, that there's some extra information in the form of a PDF that you can have access to again, support you with opening up an area that we call forbidden, which just really means that you haven't accessed it, you don't know about it, it hasn't been developed, and yet it's an essential area that you have to access and have to develop and really own in order to be more empowered. So with that, let's talk about power. Let's talk about how everywhere we go, everywhere we look, hundreds of thousands of people, especially with social media, are telling us every single day that they have the answer. Do this, you'll be mo better. Do this, click here. This is it. This is the answer, right? And when everyone has the answer, but yet nobody really has the answer, it's depressing. Can you guys relate to what I'm saying? Because we become jaded, right? We're always being bombarded. You have to do this, you have to change that. This is the solution. And none of it is, well, I won't say none, but the vast majority of it does not lead us to greater empowerment. And one of the reasons for that is most of the things that the culture is pushing on us are all about external forms of power, and very few about internal power. And more than that, people who claim to be referencing spiritual or internal power rarely, if ever, define it. We're here to revolutionize the concept of power. And power, as the way we usually refer to it in our modern culture, has to do with a context of domination, manipulation, force, or a model that I call the top dog underdog. And that applies to personal interactions and dynamics, as well as global ones. In the mainstream, we have this term called hard power, and that refers to military might, right? Or economic leverage, even political power. And then we have what's called soft power. But soft power is not really soft at all, because soft power is the ability to set an entire framework. It's an ability to set the agenda, to create or change perception, including values, and to influence people's actions. So who has soft, so-called power, And that would be Hollywood. That's built on soft power. A mogul like Oprah Winfrey has soft power. Spiritual leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, or writers and speakers like Maya Angelou, movie stars, even Kim Kardashian, right? No matter what you think about her, she's got a lot of what we would call soft power because she has the power to influence millions of people through her message, even if that message is a picture of her you know what on on Instagram. That's how we usually refer to power. That's what people generally mean. They mean those areas when they say power. And I used to believe that that was what power was also. Now I definitely know that's not true. I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about this concept of pure power and what that is, and forbidden power. So, first, I want you to imagine when I was a kid that it was not considered valuable or even valid to be intuitive. You know, it's just something kind of like a kitchen wisdom thing. Oh, she knows things, right? People always came to me, even when I was 5 years old. I had adults coming to me and asking me to bless them, to pray for them, to help heal them, to tell them what they should do. It's very true. But the term intuitive was never used. Fast forward to me being in my 20s, and I'm using the term intuitive because at that time I created The Essential Woman. And so I was thinking that that's a really big deal, right? I really, look how empowered I am. I have owned my intuition. Look at me. And then I have a friend named Pamela and another friend named Dawn who actually may be with us today. And they let me know in very loving terms that me thinking it was so hot because I'm intuitive was kind of like Shaquille O'Neal saying he's of average height. That there was a lot more to this gift than I was even aware of or than I thought was important. And that I was basically fooling myself to think that I had reached anywhere near my capacity. So let's remember for future use that the start of your real journey of empowerment will crush the ego. It's humiliating / humbling. And that's a good thing. But that is often why so many of us resist authentic, rich empowerment because our self-concept is confronted. And in the case of the story I'm telling, I had to have permission to value my intuitive perception. I really have an incredible amount of capacity in that area for psychic precision and accuracy. But because of my background, which is a very, very formal educational background, and a household that valued that, saying that would have been perhaps mocked, definitely devalued. And yet, it is the source of what helps me help you. Because if I hadn't really valued that gift and developed it, which is an act of revolution, because what I'm saying is I'm changing my value system, then I really wouldn't be able to fulfill my mission or step into the spotlight of my purpose powerfully. because that's a key ingredient that I need. So this is the other thing that I want us to remember. Forbidden power is essential to your purpose. And again, forbidden power is, it's kind of like, I think of Mission Impossible, that thing which is, they always say you'll be disavowed and disallowed if you get caught. I think of it like that. It's a thing that we're afraid to get caught doing or admit we've got. It's been disavowed, disallowed, devalued, ignored for whatever reason. Sometimes it's familial, sometimes it's cultural, sometimes it's a personal psyche thing. And that's what we're diving into today. So take a breath, everybody. Still here, still alive, still doing good. Okay. Anything that you're not allowed to be, do, have, say, or stand against, that's what we're referring to. And anything that fits that definition that would allow you to be happier, healthier, more spiritually whole, earn more money, or lead with greater effectiveness and positive impact. That's an area that is off limits. I want to bring somebody up. Last time I brought up Angelina Jolie. Now I want to bring up Paris Hilton. She's obviously got money and she's clearly famous. You might think she's famous for being famous, but her capacity, or in our terms, her pure power, is stunted. And pure power is the ability to influence, but through the lens of wisdom and compassion. Power, whether it's economic power, like if you don't do what I want, I will bankrupt you. That's the ability to influence, and it's always in relationship to someone else. However, with pure power, we're wielding influence, but we're doing it with wisdom. We're doing it with compassion. Back to Paris Hilton, not pure power. She is hooked in to the status quo of the hard power of an economic hierarchy. And when she is pressed about her beliefs and her values, she says things like, oh, well, Trump, I've known him all my life and he's been incredibly supportive of me. And things like, well, I'm an heiress and look how much money I make. I'm a hustler. And then when she's asked about her position as a female, she says, oh yeah, it's all about girl power. It's all about women's empowerment. I'm very into that. And it kind of doesn't make sense unless you look at it through this prism of forbidden power. And I would say that her forbidden power is no permission to upset the status quo around economic power, around economic might. She can't even question it. Then it makes a lot of sense. She's all about that. Being an heiress, making a lot of money, quote unquote, hustling by using her name, embracing Donald Trump and other billionaires who she says, oh yeah, I grew up around him. Makes total sense. Can everybody follow what I'm saying? So just bob your head. Okay, so very good. So let's go to your forbidden power. Let's expand all of this. But you probably will find that you have more than one area. But this isn't about overwhelming you, because the good news is you're only required to identify one area at a given time, to work with that area, to develop it, and then as you become comfortable kind of like I was talking about my comfort level with going from intuitive to then majorly intuitive slash psychic slash perceptive and owning that. Well, maybe I will continue to develop in that area, but there's not this charge on it anymore. And therefore, I'm working on another area that has been a little bit off limits. And for me right now, that's about having a level 10A team supporting my genius. I fully believe from my own life and from the lives of friends and clients that if you're living with pure power intentions, really desiring to have a positive impact and wield positive influence, then it is incumbent upon you to continue this wonderful journey of growth. It's magnificent, which also means that, I mean, God doesn't want to bore you. So you'll always find another treasure and another fence that you forgot about or didn't even know that was there. And you say, wow, that's new terrain that I'm being called to cross into. It's always an adventure. And that really is something magnificent. But remember what I said, your ego's not going to like it. So you just got to get used to your ego not liking it some of the time. It's okay. You can still have fun. All right. Close your eyes, everybody. Let's get to it. I want you to imagine that you are on stage and that you have to share with raw honesty and vulnerability about one of these topics: sex, your self-esteem, what you really think about the people in your life, what you really want out of life, your real opinion about spirituality. Thinking about those topics, here's a reminder: sex, your self-esteem, what you want. Oh, here's some other ones for you: money, your real situation with money, or your history with money. Here's another one: failures. And here's another one: successes. Because sometimes that can be difficult, really embracing your accomplishments. We can be shy about that. I've given you a number of topics and pretty much guarantee you one of them would be a little uncomfortable if you were standing on stage. And did I mention your parents are in the audience? Maybe even your crush is in the audience. Could be a movie star crush. If you have a significant other, they're in the audience. There are other people in the audience. What feels scary to talk about? Really raw and honest. Where does it feel super vulnerable for you to stand on stage and tell the complete truth? Feel that. Feel that in your body, your psyche. And take a moment to write that down. We'll just spend a couple of minutes with you jotting down what is uncomfortable, because it's one thing to get it in your mind, and it's quite another thing to write it down and stream of consciousness for just a minute or two say, okay, this is very uncomfortable, and the idea of it freaks me out because what will so and so think? For some of you being on that stage and speaking to, let's say, a lover or boyfriend or coworker, that's going to be where the terror is. Maybe you could talk about these topics, maybe perhaps most of them, with an audience of strangers, even with your parents. But there's that one person in your life who you are afraid to express to what you think about money or what you want from them in that area, what you don't want from them, or sex, or any of those other topics. If you're in that boat, that's totally cool. Go with that. We're looking for wherever the most intense challenge lives right now. Area. Who would like to talk about what they have? And remember, you don't have to give all your business. Don't have to, put it all out there. But just so I can get an idea and I can give you some reflections that are really helpful. Yeah, hold on. Let me bring you up. All righty. Go, girl.
Okay, well, for me, just going through the exercise, imagining speaking about sex on stage was the one that was my trigger of the thing that would make me the most uncomfortable, shy, and, vulnerable. And going further in the exercise, thinking about I am in a relationship, I'm married. So talking to my husband about it alone would be fine. But beyond that, with my parents or strangers, it feels like some sort of violation of a societal code or a moral code that I've adopted, or is an essential correct thing because of just the way humans are. There's something sacred about sex that makes us keep it to ourselves or keep it to an intimate situation. But the feelings that it makes me feel are fear, and that I would be crossing a line that would be shameful. Mm-hmm. Not that what I was doing was shameful, but talking about it would be breaking some sort of like societal and moral code that I subscribe to.
Excellent. Would you like feedback?
Absolutely.
Okay. First of all, thank you for being brave and courageous and just showing up and being honest, because that's a great first step. What I would say to you is the thing that comes to me is propriety. You use the word moral code, and that word propriety is flashing above your head. And I'm wondering if there are these stringent, perhaps unspoken rules of propriety that you are abiding within and by, and that in your life, not your personal life, because I think that's okay and you guys have great communication, but in your professional life and the way that you are moving through the external professional universe, I'm wondering whether there aren't some lines that you really want to cross and would be empowered to cross, but unconsciously you're thinking, I can't go there because that's not proper. Does any of this ring a bell?
Like the Liberty Bell, yes. bell, because what I didn't share earlier when you were asking about questions or comments, it was about basically the idea of the place I am now, where having worked with you, I've identified so many things that I want to move forward with my power. But I found within the past week or so, I've felt so much happiness and joy and peace that I don't want to move out of it and move into the work because I keep feeling that the work is going to change the state that I'm in. And I really like the state that I'm in. It's been hard to get to the state that I'm in. So what do you do? The question is, what do you do when you have identified your power, you're aligned with your power, you believe in your power, but knowing stepping fully into your power will potentially upset the good space that you are in because you've done all this work to identify your power?
Oh, grasshopper. It is a timeless question. We strive and work to get to enlightenment slash happiness slash pleasure. Just pick a word. And then when we get there, we become attached to it. We become afraid of losing it. And then it becomes a problem. Because then we harden. We fall out of trust. We start blocking the wind and the Tao or the chi, whatever you want to call it, because we have to start controlling. I'm in this space and I don't want anything to interrupt it. Now, there are times when we're in a groove and we want to stay in that groove and we don't want to disrupt it because it's perfect and we're in momentum. But then we can't get attached to that either, because just like with stages of a business, you know how they have stage 1, stage 2, then you're in the momentum, and then you're in this. We're always evolving. So what I would say is it's simply an issue of trust, that even as you evolve or allow your perfect peace to be disrupted, that you will come back to that state of peace can become your new default position. Right? Instead of something that you have to hold on to really tight, like one of those things that they throw you, I guess a life preserver, when you have to hold on for dear life, okay, I'm like a tree, right? I'll have wind and I'll move and I won't always be stuck at this place, but then I'm going to come back because my default position is a place of dynamic peace, a place of trust, a place of harmony, a place of compassion, a place of wisdom, a place where my heart is open, a place where I value who I am and I have love and appreciation for myself. Does that help?
Yes. If I can reflect it back to you in my language, it would be like you've found the foundation and now you're building. By stepping into your power, you fortify it.
Yes.
Even though it may not always feel like you're building that, you're doing that. It might feel like you're stepping on sand. You are really, in fact, building the strong foundation.
Absolutely.
As you take steps out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yay, very good. Okay, anybody else? Quickly. You got to raise up a hand. I got to see. Okay, all right. So we have time for hopefully a couple. Hi.
Initially, mine was between sex and spirituality. And as you kept talking and describing me sitting on the stage talking to people, actually it surprised me, but spirituality came up really high. And it's so crazy because that's such a strong belief of mine. And I realized the people that I have the hardest time with, actually, before it would be my relationships, which that's totally changed. Now it's more my clients and my business. Like, it's kind of like how you're saying, I'm in this well, I'm kind of working alongside Western doctors, so it's like they're cool with me. We work, like I do workers' comp, so like it's finally accepted to do acupuncture. And so now I feel like with my spirituality adding in the mix, it feels like it's kind of the woo-woo that they have shunned us in the first place. So yeah, that came.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to, in the interest of time, tell you what I see, and that is legitimacy, spirituality, your spirituality, what you really believe. You haven't come to a place of permission and authority with knowing that it is legitimate and feeling that it is okay for you to believe these things, right? Because there's a fear that if you make a mistake, if you let the wrong thing out to the wrong person, that there will be a horrible backlash. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's an excellent area that when I say excellent, I mean it's excellent because it's coming out. Many people share that. Many people share this fear of their real, authentic spiritual beliefs creating backlash or ridicule or some kind of ostracism for them. So that area is something to work on so that you feel comfortable with it. And there's no rule that says you have to broadcast to every single person, hey, let me tell you what I believe. You got to hear me. I mean, no, of course not. We have some discernment, but the issue isn't discernment for you. The issue is the fear that something will come out and then, oh my God, I'm going to be illegitimate. Right?
Yeah.
So this is something great for us to work on. Yay! Make sense though?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what we're doing today is we're popping the cherry, if you will. We're I got that phrase from you. We're getting a taste of what it is. This isn't the end of the work. This is the beginning. This is illumination time. And then comes integration time. But first we have to see what it is. Okay.
Mine was about what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking to everybody, I don't know that there's one person more than others.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So.
Oh, again, excellent, because many people share this. Many people share a deep fear of having clarity around what they want. It can feel very dangerous for a number of reasons. And I think for you, acknowledging what you want feels dangerous because it can bring disapproval. Can you understand that? And does that make sense to you? Yeah. And getting disapproval emotionally for you is extremely horrific. It is one of your worst fears because disapproval starts a chain reaction in your particular psyche that leads from the moment of that sting of disapproval all the way almost to death. Can you relate to that too?
Yes.
Yes. So for you, knowing that what you want is oh, no. That's a minefield, gives you the opportunity to come at it from two ways. One is working on the emotional healing that would cause you to feel more safety with being able to receive disapproval, potentially, and not fold in the face of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody is obligated, even the people who love us the most, to love everything and approve of everything we do and say and want. Can you agree with that?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So on the one hand, it's building up your emotional health and stamina so that you have resilience in that area, and it's not this thing that can take you down. At the same time, we're doing that, we also little by little take these safe steps to shine a light. First it's a candle, and then we let it get brighter and brighter and brighter until it's the sun shining on what it is that you want. Is this all accurate and helping you? Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Sure.
Thank you. Sure. So
I was just going to say, it's incredibly helpful to thinking that, like, I'm just going to sit here and listen today and participate and be a part of it, and then get out of it what you gave me, which is exactly right. Being caught up in propriety and fear of crossing that line is exactly what I needed to hear to make me commit to the things I know I need to do to access my power. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate you so much. And I know this isn't going to come as a shock, but you know who else who has a propriety problem? Welcome to the club. It's something that I have to be conscious of, and that I have had to really evolve with and work with, because coming from my background as a debutante and the daughter of a lawyer / engineer and a PhD entrepreneur mom, with our lineage having, my grandparents are formally educated. My great grandmother was a headmistress of a school and began a school for people of color, because in those days it was segregation, in the state where they lived. This is in my DNA, that we value book learning, right? So I have all the book learning, but I also have this other gift too that I have to own, and that is perhaps more valuable to me than, or at least as valuable as, all the book learning. So propriety, I think, runs through, for many of us, many in this tribe too. We have that. Okay. Any last words before I make our announcements? And okay, anybody? We're all good. All right. So thank you, everybody, for being here today. I appreciate each of you so much. Each person, each face here is an essential part, just as essential as I was speaking about my gifts. You are each a gift to me and have brought me your unique talents, love, activation, and willingness. And it just means so much to me. And I feel myself getting emotional, and I hate that. So I'm going to stop talking. But please know how much I appreciate you and am so proud of you for doing this brave work. Anybody who's listening to the recording, I extend my love to you too for showing up. So if you've enjoyed this taste of Forbidden Power and you want more meat on the bone, you want to learn a little bit more, please go to yourforbiddenpowerwithdena.com. Just click on the link and there's a PDF that I have prepared for you, which includes more of the exercises, the 5 magical questions, information and details that you can use to explore more of your forbidden power. And remember, this is just the start. This is the step of clarity that initiates the process of opening up all the energy in what has been off limits. Also in that PDF, if you are feeling the call and you know that it is time for you to get the deep and precise work that you need to launch yourself into your next position or to better sustain the one you're in, whether that's being more effective, being happier, healthier, clearer, and more spiritually whole while wielding positive influence, then there's also a link in that PDF that you can click in order to apply for VIP work with me. And as always, lots and lots of love. Bye, everybody.